Was good, everybody? So I'm not even gonna quickly. I will say, if you are new here, welcome, hello. Don't panic. If this is your first impression, pun unintended, of my videos, don't think that all my changes are retcons of old Pokemon evolutionary lines. Luvdisc is its own Pokemon. This is not one of those situations where like it evolves into Alomomola and it's you have to evolve it and it's bad. Luvdisc is still great, okay? For all you Luvdisc lovers out there or people who just don't like this change, you don't have to evolve it. I just wanted to quickly say that before I talk about literally anything else because somebody out there is going to be upset or annoyed that it evolves. It's optional. It's 100% optional. It's a choice. And the beautiful thing about this is Luvdisc can run a Violate, and it's great with the Violate. So that being said, yes, welcome. Sorry if that was a little bit of a blunt intro, but I just wanted to quickly, just for the people who click and then click off, I wanted to quickly address that. But link in the description down below for these changes on the Google Sheet. As always, check that out in the description, especially the move section on the document. As you can see, it's right here. It's very important. I basically every single move is buffer changed in this hack, so definitely important to check all these out and give them a look. So that being said, if I could load back, please. Please. Thank you. Yeah, really great buffs here. Evolution. So before I even talk about how great these guys are, I gotta address why it evolves into Alomomola. I'm sure most people already kind of know that it does, or that like it kind of makes sense. In fact, people thought that Alomomola was like, for example, there's a couple of intergenerational evolutions that I think are fucking stupid. Like, for example, in my opinion at least, Dunsparce into Drampa is dumb as hell, even more so now that it actually has a real evolution. But even before that, I just always thought that was stupid. However, Luvdisc into Alomomola makes a lot of sense. Design-wise, it makes a lot of sense, like thematically, sort of. Obviously, Alomomola doesn't have that love motif, but oftentimes motifs of or themes or design inspirations change as the Pokemon evolve. I mean, you have fucking Remoraid and Octillery, so why not? Like people are like, oh, they're different fish, and it's like, dude, different fish evolve into different fish all the fucking time in Pokemon. It doesn't have to be literal the same species of fish. And I would present to you Exhibit A. This is like evidence right here, like that even Game Freak fucking knows that these guys should have fucking evolved into Alomomola. And the main important reason here is actually for balancing reasons, because I've seen a lot of hacks give Luvdisc some fucking stupid ass buffs, like, oh, 130, 20 special attack and Soul Heart. Like, that's dumb, in my opinion. If you like that, more power to you. I'm going to get a comment, oh, actually, there's this one hack that has Soul Heart. And look, Soul Heart is already repurposed into another ability. Anyways, that actually fits way more Pokemon, and also, Soul Heart is a stupid pun on Luvdisc. That's all it is. It's just it's a pun, okay? And it's a stupid one, in my opinion. It bothers me. Anyways, ranting aside, yeah, just really great now that it can all violate. So it's essentially a balancing change because Luvdisc is one of the few Pokemon that was single stage in the vanilla games that like I can't buff too much just logically. Like look at it, it's a fucking bait. It's a fish. It's a fish that's shaped like a heart. I can't do that much with it. Obviously, it has all the love, inspiration, and all that stuff, so hence why it's especially defensive and it's overall like it's like a bulky, fast support Pokemon, which is really useful in a hack like this. While Alomomola is bulkier because of that giant HP increase, 55 to 155. Keep in mind that Alomomola has the same HP set as Blissey now. Both of them have 155 base HP, which is pretty fitting and cool. I like that, because they're kind of like counterparts to each other in terms of like big HP support mon. They have very similar stats actually as a whole, with Alomomola having more physical defense and being faster, but having I believe lower special attack and then lower special defense. So yeah, and also Water Fairy versus normal Fairy, but and different abilities. For example, Regenerator is incredible. But I'm getting ahead of myself. I want to quickly talk about Luvdisc. So yeah, you can totally make use of a Violet Luvdisc the whole game. You don't ever have to evolve it if you don't want to, if you want to use your Luvdisc. It's faster than Alomomola, that's the main allure. Not to mention you have Trace as opposed to Magic Bounce. While Magic Bounce is overall a better ability than Trace, Trace has a lot of incredibly useful situational use. Keep in mind that it's ROM you do have access to infinite usability capsules, so you can switch between Regenerator and Trace as needed. So say 80% of the time you're running Regenerator, and then 20% of the time you're going to run Trace to copy the opponent's ability and use that for a specific strategy. There's a lot of room for strategy there, and that can be incredible because you can get literally any ability if you just copy the right one at the right time. But obviously, Regenerator is still great. You can just take advantage of that. Well, your HP stat is much lower, which makes Regenerator worse because you heal less HP. But again, doesn't make it a bad Pokemon. With the Violate, its special defense is much higher than Alomomola's, and its physical defense is much higher than Alomomola's because of the Violate, so you do kind of make up for that. I would say overall, probably Alomomola is still bulkier. I'm too lazy to run calcs, but if I had to guess, I would say Alomomola is still bulkier. Maybe not specially, but definitely physically overall because of that HP stat. But again, Luvdisc has the advantage of being 40 points faster. So if you look at speed tier guide, that's important for a bulky support Pokemon. Being fast is very useful. So for you Luvdisc lovers out there, you can totally take advantage of it. It's a very good bulky fast support Pokemon, and they both do have the same special attack stat of 75, which is just a good, solid, usable special attack stat. Nothing too crazy because they shouldn't be offensive in my opinion. I always hated that hacks make Luvdisc offensive. It doesn't make sense. It's not. Look at it, dude. Like nothing about that is super offensive. Not that like it is like passive or anything. Like it can deal damage, especially with high base power moves and stuff. Also stuff like Calm Mind is nice, but at the end of the day, it is overall a really good support Pokemon first. So yeah, that's Luvdisc. And then Alomomola, of course, gains Magic Bounce. I think all these abilities fit really well. Trace fitting because of the whole love stuff, and then Alomomola fitting Magic Bounce. I think it just fits looking at the design and the dex entries and stuff. And then regen is something that Alomomola already had, so I just gave it to Luvdisc as well. And that's really nice because you, of course, just switch out and get a bunch of fucking HP back, and it's just incredible. You do have more weaknesses as a Water Fairy type. I didn't even talk about the type change yet. I don't think anybody's going to question it for a second. I think the type change is pretty self-explanatory and fitting. While you do gain a couple weaknesses, and you lose. Oh, God, I'm speaking quickly. Excuse me. You lose your resistance to steel, and you have a weakness to poison. However, you gain all of the benefits of being a fairy type as well. So and you have dual stab. So overall, it is still great. Not to mention there are pure water type regenerators such as Vaporeon. So for balancing reasons as well, I had to change that. Keep in mind, whenever I do type changes, all this other stuff, I have all the other Pokemon planned out, and I want to make sure that there's no overlap between Pokemon of the same type. I don't want them to outclass one another. I don't want them to have the same abilities, nothing like that. So that's another reason I do type changes sometimes. But yeah, that being said, regen, stable ability. Alomomola can run Magic Bounce, which is really nice to switch in, and there are tons of new moves that drop tons of new status moves in general, like flying around that just do all kinds of stuff, like sleep moves, and stat dropping moves are very common. There's tons of great ones like Battle Cry, Charm, Befriend, Tickle, blah blah blah. Like, those are all over the place. Parting Shot, even just Magic Bouncing that would be nice. So all kinds of stuff like that is really nice to have with Magic Bounce. You can use that ability capsule and swap it on when needed. Not to mention Magic Bounce doesn't, excuse me, not to mention Magic Bounce does make you immune to stuff like Taunt, which is great because you can use Setup like Calm Mind, or you can use your support stuff like Wish, Wish Regen. I mean, Alomomola already did that, but does it even better now. Well, technically it already does it worse now because it has 10 less base HP, but that's not that doesn't really matter when you have all that bulk. Man, I just love these buffs. It's just really fucking awesome support. I would prefer Alomomola. I also just prefer Alomomola's design to Luvdisc. I think Luvdisc is stupid, but doesn't mean I would make it any worse of a Pokemon. It's a great Pokemon now, and you can totally use it. That speed is pretty important. Like, don't get it twisted. The speed is a pretty big deal. So if you want to sacrifice bulk for speed, you could go for that. Not to mention it is still pretty bulky. So, and you have Trace, which is situationally really good. Yeah, just great utility stuff. You got Encore, you got Tickle, Haze, Aurora Beam dropping the opponent's offensive stats by 1. Z-Soak gives you plus 2 special attack. That's pretty great. Can remove the opponent's stab and whatever, good for totems. Wish obviously is great. Charm, Befriend, Lucky Chan is great for Ruthless Pokemon and other crit moves, and that's priority. Heart Swap is incredible to stop sweeps. In general, Heart Swap is a priority move that switches your stat changes with the opponent. So, for example, say the opponent has plus $1 stats, they use an Omnibus Z move, and you're about to get swept, switching your Alomomola, or Luvdisc, and you get that Lucky Chant, that Heart Swap off, and you swap the stat changes around, and you can actually reverse sweep them, which is really cool. So that's awesome. You got good stabs, powerful stab moves, sleep move with Dreamy Kiss that always lasts 2 turns, so you can use that with regen and get a guaranteed sleep turn off, or you can switch out and abuse it with your teammate, or you can take advantage of the sleep yourself with Calm Mind or some other support move or a setup move. You do have solid coverage as well. You got Water Fairy Dual Stab as well as Aura Sphere, which just fits because of the whole love fairy type crap. And I'm also just pretty generous with TMs and for the most part. Yeah, Psychic, Shadow Ball, Ice Beam, that's all you really need. Signal Beam, all that, that's really all you need. Weather Ball can be good for certain situations. All this fun stuff you could play around with, okay? Um, Yeah, and then most other really cool things you can do. So regen, Eternal Beam is cool because Eternal Beam is a 125 base power special recoil fairy type move, which is awesome. So you can get that recoil damage and then heal it off with regen or wish or something else. And then with Hydro Cannon and Floor Cannon, both of those are widely distributed, and Hydro Cannon having the same effect as Floor Cannon now. Keep in mind, if you are new here, by the way, welcome. I'm sorry if this is a little bit more of a rush video, but I want to keep these videos a little bit shorter, or if I can, just to make watch time better and in general just have people more likely to click on it because it's shorter. Not that I'm gonna like rush stuff, but yeah, if you go here, you can see the detailed changes for all these moves, and there are tons of moves that do that same effect that moves like Psycho Boost used to and Floor Cannon used to, and these are all widely distributed, so that's really fun. And the great thing about that is that they're 150 base power, and they'll drop your special attack stat by 2, so you can then switch out to remove that stat drop and get regenerative recovery. So that's a really, really good move, and it gives a mom with otherwise low 75 base special attack, not low, but middling. It's average. It's not even average at this point. It's not good. It's not a strong stat, especially in this hack. With strong ass Pokemon, like you're gonna need boosts or something to do damage with that, or high base power moves, which is why Hydro Cannon and Flare Cannon are nice because it gives you some offensive presence, without having to do other stuff. So that's awesome. I don't really know what else to say. Like little things like, oh, I dropped Alomomola's speed a tiny bit just to match Luvdisc's 102 speed a little bit better. Also because it didn't really make sense to be that quick anyways, and that's just I wanted more stats. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. Violate, Luvdisc. Literally, if you don't like the idea of it evolving, you don't have to do it. You can completely ignore it. You can pretend it doesn't exist and just slap an Evaluate on your Luvdisc and use that, if you want to use it. Again, it does have that speed advantage, so but you are frailer, so it's kind of a trade-off there. But you're still very tanky with a Violite, so it's up to you. Although you do have to keep in mind when you're running a Violite, you also are giving up held item freedom, which is pretty goddamn important in a hack like this. You're going to want your held items. You're going to want to swap your items around. You're going to want all kinds of different items in Alomomola, super effective weakening berries, all kinds of stuff like that. So, getting rid of that is kind of a shame, but that's part of the advantage. You're much faster and you're pretty tanky, but you also lose out on your held item slot. So that's about it. I'll leave it off there. Thank you very much for listening. Hopefully this video was informative. Sorry if I sound a little bit rushed or whatever. I noticed like the videos that are shorter are doing better. So also it's just people are more likely to want to listen to that. So yeah, thank you so much for listening, everybody. Again, link in the description down below for these changes. You got the move sheet, you got all these other detailed guides to all of the changes, all kinds of stuff you can see down below here. And then also you can join my Discord server if that interests you as well. So thank you very much, everybody, for listening. And I'll be back for more. That's actually the last non-pseudo, non-legendary Hoenn Pokemon. So yeah, we're almost done with Hoenn, y'all. Thanks, everybody. Goodbye.